I am Gregory Hallows, and this is Preserve Halloween Podcast. So, hello. It has been, 3 months at least since I recorded a podcast. I think the last one was without me checking the Krampus one I did back in December. So it's been quite some time. I've been extremely busy with a lot of projects, some of which I'll talk about today, some of which I can't talk about yet, but I'm excited about. But I've really just been busy. As a lot of us who love Halloween know, after, October and November, where we try to squeeze that little bit of Halloween out, a lot of us kind of hibernate and don't emerge from our pumpkin shells, I guess, until, later in the year when we start gearing up for the next Halloween season. A lot of us never turn Halloween off. Sometimes we're doing things in the background silently and, nobody really knows about it. So that's been my experience for the past few months. I've still been working on Halloween things. I just haven't sat down to record a podcast, which I really miss doing this. Getting the notes together and preparing and being able to just let out thoughts in my head is very therapeutic, I guess. So I'm really excited to be sitting at my desk holding my phone in my hand because I'm not a very big technical guy when it comes to doing this podcast. It's kind of a on-the-fly thing. I'm very technical and detail-oriented when it comes to a lot of things, but I want the podcast to be just me talking to friends. So I've tried to keep it as simple as possible. I literally use my notes or voice memo app on my iPhone, and that's how I record these podcasts. No editing, no mastering, no, nothing really. I record it and I almost immediately put it up online for everyone to hear. So that's good and bad because there's really no schedule. There's no, structure. It's just, what do I want to talk about this week? But, what have I been doing the past few months? I've been going to a lot of shows. I've been preparing for a lot of my shows. I finally got to meet Goth Dad, the lead singer for Vision Video. Dusty is one of the nicest people you could ever meet. If you haven't heard of Vision Video, the band, do yourself a favor and go check it out. If you love any kind of 80s gothy type music, if you're a Cure fan, which don't get me started about the Cure tickets today. I somehow magically managed to secure Cure tickets for me, my wife, and my two daughters to go see the Cure in Houston. But it just reaffirms my hatred for Ticketmaster. Those tickets, I ended up getting them from a venue that doesn't use Ticketmaster, which surprisingly, there are still some venues in the world that don't use Ticketmaster, thankfully. We got, I think, the very last row in the venue. Who knows how far away I'll be, but I will finally get to see the Cure in person for the first time in my life. And I get to take my kids to see it, all two of my kids, to see the concert. So I'm really excited. I hope that the people that wanted to get tickets ended up being able to. I'm really happy that Robert Smith took on Ticketmaster and their stupid fees. I wish there was some kind of regulatory way that we're not paying more, if not the same, more than the actual ticket price for fees to buy tickets. I deal with it sometimes for what I do for my shows, but thankfully There's only one venue that I have to deal with Ticketmaster, and it's horrible. Um, I try my best to make it fair for the people coming to the events, but they don't make it easy. But anyway, I got Cure tickets. I can't remember if I talked about this. I saw Danny Elfman last year in Los Angeles. I've got to meet Goth Dad, Dusty. Kane Hodder came to one of our shows just a few weeks ago, and he's the nicest guy ever. A great person. I've met him before a really long time ago, but he's never done one of my events, so I was excited to bring him to one of those. We had a great weekend. He dressed in the Part 8 Jason Voorhees Takes Manhattan costume, and that was fun. The nicest guy to his fans. Like, he's, you always hear that thing, sometimes don't meet your idols, don't meet who you look up to, don't meet, if you like something, don't meet the person who is that, but that's not true. There's a lot of wonderful people that are entertainers and create that are just the greatest people to the fans and just in general. So speaking of events, I have two I'm planning coming up. I'm really excited about the one in Austin. I'm doing a show called Final Girl Festival, and the majority of the guest list is female entertainers or female wrestlers or voice actors or what have you. It's not an entirely female show. I do have Grady Hendrix, the author, who's wrote, My Best Friend's Exorcism, and he's got a new book out. I think it's called How to Buy a Haunted House or something like that. I'm sure that's wrong, but every book he's done is great. A lot of them have been adapted into movies or TV series, so excited to have him at that show. I've been wanting to do a show in Austin for a really long time. I love that city. I love the food there. My daughter goes to book camp there. I'm excited to be able to go there just for work. But that show is coming up at the end of June, first week of July in Austin, Texas. And then I'll be coming back. This will be year 3 for the Preserve Halloween Fest. We just announced the first guest. It's Doug Jones, who is amazing actor who the majority of the time you don't see his face, but we know it's him. He is also one of the nicest people there is. He gives wonderful hugs. That's become, I guess, a thing he's known for. He's been in every movie that you can think of that somebody's behind latex or a mask or a character actor. I don't know what you call it, but he's great. He's been Nosferatu. He's been in one of the greatest episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer ever. He, Hellboy, Silver Surfer, Shape of Water. I mean, go on. And Doug, he's Mac Tonight. If you remember those old commercials, he's the moon-headed guy, Mac Tonight. That was him. So that's coming up. We do have a lot of great guests planned for that show too. I'm excited with the trajectory that show has taken. And I just found out through somebody asking me a question through email that one of the panels at our show last year was nominated for a Rondo Hatton Award. The panel that Count Gore Duvall did is nominated for Best Event of 2022, which I think is insane. Because I've talked about this before, and, I speak very openly of my imposter syndrome. And one of the things that comes with that is we, as creators, there's a lot of us online that we create things not ever knowing if we're reaching an audience, or we might not get the feedback that we thought we would get, or we may create something and no one ever tells us how much they enjoy it, because sometimes people just don't do that. But having an event that poured your love into, and sweat, and, hard work, and everything that comes with putting on events, to have it nominated for anything is wonderful, but to have it recognized by the fans of the genre, and the fans of, what you are love to do is even better. So I have no idea if or who nominated us, or how that came about. I don't really know. I think it's all nominated by the fans, but just to be in the company of the other events that are nominated is crazy to me, because I sometimes wonder about the show itself, and should I keep doing it, and I want to put on the best product that I can, and make it fun for everybody. And I'm getting good feedback from people at the show itself, and it's nice to hear good things, because you never really know. I don't do it for the accolades or for the pats on the back. I do it because I love it. But to hear that other people enjoy it is wonderful. So I'm very honored that we got nominated. And Count Gordeval is the best guy. There couldn't be a better person nominated for an award. He also was nominated for Best Host, because he's still putting out his show every week, and it's still awesome, and he still loves what he does, and puts on the makeup and becomes the Count for us and for him. And to love something so much that you want to share it with other people is great. So thank you to everyone who was nominated for loving what you do so much, and putting the effort and putting the work in, not knowing if anyone will care, but doing it anyway. That's one of the hardest things, is doing something because you love it, and just hoping that other people will have some enjoyment too. So thank you for that again. This week, what I want to talk about is a friend of ours was cleaning out her attic and called us and said, "Hey, I found these Halloween decorations, and do you want them?" And I'm like, "Of course I want them." Like, I love the fact that anybody that ever finds anything Halloween related, I'm the first person they think of to call. They call me or my wife and say, "Hey, we found these things. Do you want them?" And of course they know we're going to say yes. I don't care what it is. I don't even have to see it. Yes, that's the answer. So it turns out she had a trio, and I'll post a picture online today to get an idea of, I don't remember these things, but as soon as I saw them, I was like, I think I remember seeing these at like Spencer's Gifts or a Halloween store or something. They're 3D. They're made out of the really thin plastic material. I'm not sure what you would classify it as. It's a typical Halloween decoration, but they're 3D and they're blacklight. You can use a blacklight on them. I haven't done that yet. I want to kind of clean them off first, but they're in wonderful condition. I got a devil. The devil's the main one that I thought was cool, but there's also like a ghoul kind of thing and a skeleton, I believe. I'm not looking at the picture right now. I packed them up and I'm putting them in storage until I can go make sure that there's nothing damaged on them or there's no repairs to be needed or whatever. And then I'm going to hang it on the wall because I want to see them. But these were made by a guy named Robert J. Marino, and I think that's how you say it, like Dan Marino, the Dolphins quarterback. Anyway, he's a special effects guy, and he worked on Nightmare on Elm Street, Dream Warriors. He did special effects for that with the Todd Masters company. He worked on Suburban Commando with XFX Incorporated. He worked on a movie called Prototype. This is all like late 80s, early 90s. He worked on Dead Heat, which if you've ever seen Dead Heat, that is a Treat Williams, Joe Piscopo movie. Uh, Joe Piscopo is probably the biggest funny guy I think ever, like biggest muscular funny guy that I can remember from that time frame. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger was funny, but he wasn't like funny to start. He became a comedian after he did all his, action stuff. But I think Joe Piscopo from the get-go was a comedian because I don't know, I remember him being hilarious. So, but uh, Robert did work on all those movies, and then also Return of the Swamp Thing. He worked on that, and then a movie called The Temp. But this is all late '80s, early '90s horror, sci-fi. Apex, I think, is another movie he worked on. I think he was actually in that, like he was an actor in it. Um, but he went on to form his own special effects company called Bob Marino. I think it's just called Robert Robert Marino. I don't know. I'm not really sure about that part, but he um, started a company in the late 90s called Octopus Creations, and that company was founded on making toys and gifts and Halloween items for whoever was interested. He's done designing. His company does prototypes, licensing, sculpting. They do vacuum forms, which this is kind of the 3D things I'm talking about are vacuum forms, I think. He does graphics, filmmaking. He's been in the industry for over almost 30 years, I believe, at this point. But some of the toys he's made are, I was looking this up online. He's done Hot Wheels toys. He created the Hot Wheels toy that is for I think the guy's name is Aaron Fotheringham. It's a guy in a wheelchair. He's done a toy called the Terra Climber. He's done toys for Frozen 2, I believe. He's done stuff for Crayola. They're called creature stackers, blow pins. His resume, other than film, is pretty extensive. He's also, worked on some Hot Wheels stuff, like I said before, but he's done like this basically snake car. He's done there's the Hot Wheels sets where the cars race on. He's done some of those, but like Daredevil and horror themed. I think he did the Daredevil stunt set. He's done Batman toys, and this is Hot Wheels. I think a good chunk of his work is for Hot Wheels. He also did Freaky Flying Discs. If you remember those, there was a Hollywood Hogan and a Dracula one, I remember. I think they had the license for Universal Monsters. He did an Alien Autopsy toy, or I don't know if it's called Alien Autopsy, but I know it was basically you dissect an alien. He did these things called Bigfoot Football, where he took, like, again, Hollywood Hogan and Goldberg and some other wrestlers. I think they had the license with WCW before it folded, and they turned wrestlers into footballs. But I remember, as soon as I saw it, the company that he used to make these 3D sculptures was called Dark Illusions. And that's where there was the devil, of course, and there was ghouls and like skeleton heads coming out looking like they're coming right at you. But they were glow in the dark, and I think he did metallic ones as well. And then he did there was another company under his umbrella called Metaphysique. Those were more uh, like, I guess, sci-fi based. There was mermaids and angels and just really detailed sculptures of primarily female forms. But that's Octopus Creations Incorporated encompasses all these things. He also did special effects under this umbrella. He's done masks. He's done costumes. I think he did the costume for Hulk Hogan in God, what was the movie called? We had this really like detailed warrior looking costume. He's done props, lots of masks, puppets, even full sets. He's pretty much just done everything creative that you can think of. But I really was interested in learning more about him, and there's not a ton of info online. Like I did a pretty big scouring of the internet, and all I could find when I searched his name in Darklight Illusions was just the same, like the website Octopus Creations, and very limited blurbs. I've reached out to him directly through his company's email address. I'm hoping to hear something back. But from what I can tell, they're still putting out toys, and this website hasn't been updated since 2022, the Octopus Creations, but we'll see. Maybe somebody listening knows Robert and could reach out to him for me and let him know. I would love to hear more about his story and what got him into special effects, and how much he's involved with Halloween and Halloween props and our ongoing historical research in Halloween products. But I will post the image of the three forms I purchased, luckily, and I'll keep bringing you guys stories about my friends calling me and asking, hey, do you want this? Because those are fun for me, because I get to instantly start doing research on where this came from or how many there are. There's quite an extensive list of Darklight Illusions on eBay, and some of them are pretty pricey. I was surprised. So I think that's it for today. I'm very, very excited to be back recording a podcast, and I hope you guys are still out there loving Halloween, and as always, preserve Halloween.